All right, good evening, everyone. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We can have a roll call, please.
Mr. Dixon? Mrs. Diglio? Mrs. LaFois?
Here.
Mrs. Teets?
Here.
Mayor Kus?
Here. One moment, I lost my page. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this regular meeting was given to the two newspapers of record and posted on the official bulletin board on January 5th, 2024. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the February 26th, 2024 budget hearing.
I'll offer the minutes from the February 26th budget hearing.
And I will second the minutes from the budget hearing.
Is there any discussion or alterations that needed?
Not for me.
Okay. A roll call?
Mrs. LaFois?
Yes.
Mrs. Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Kus?
Yes. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the April 8th, 2024 regular meeting.
I'll offer the regular meeting minutes from the April 8th, 2024 meeting.
And I will second the April 8th regular meeting minutes.
Are there any comments or adjustments needed? All right,
Nothing for me.
roll call?
Mrs. LaFois?
Yes.
Mrs. Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Kus?
Yes. At this point in the meeting, the town council welcomes comments from any member of the public on any topic. To help facilitate an orderly meeting and to permit the opportunity for anyone who wishes to be heard, speakers are asked to take one turn at the microphone and please limit their comments to 3 minutes. The clerk will keep time. If reading from a prepared statement, please provide a copy and email a copy to the clerk's office after making your comments so it may be properly reflected in the minutes. Council may choose to comment after the entire public portion has concluded. Please identify yourself and spell your last name for the record. And as is customary, we'll start with anyone in person who would like to speak. To do so, please approach the microphone.
Hello, I'm Marge McCabe, MCCABE. I live at 125 High Street. I am Secretary of the Newton Rotary Club, who has been in existence for 100 years now. It was started by 18 local businessmen, a couple of note being William Dolan and Charles Iliff. And over the last 100 years, we have made significant donations and investments in the town of Newton, including, and you may not be aware of this, though Mr. Russo may be aware, the two stanchions that are on Spring Street that hold the banners across the street were donated by the Newton Rotary. Also, some of our members have made significant donations, including the land that the hospital sits on, Memory Park, and the land that the Newton Pool sits on. Some current members of note include Larry Condit, Frank Eberhardt, Mark Hans, John Iliff, Carl Lazaro, Bob McCracken, John Frank, Sandy Hollander, George Morville, Buzz Tomasino, Nancy Morrissey, Laura Camp, Denise Current, and of course, Wayne McCabe. So I consider the Newton Rotary Club to be a very special organization. We provide humanitarian service and encourage a high ethical standard in all vocations. And we live by what we call the four-way test, which consists of, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? And in honor of our 100th anniversary, I would like to invite all of the council members, if I may approach.
You may.
Thank you. This is our 100-year anniversary dinner on May 16th. Phil Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in person who'd like to speak? Not seeing anyone, we'll move to Zoom. If anyone on Zoom would like to speak, please indicate so by raising your hand. All right, not seeing anyone, we will close the first public session this evening and move on to council and manager reports, beginning with Mr. Russo, Town Manager Russo.
Sure, Mayor, we have two proclamations for the record. The week of April 21 through 27, National Volunteer Week, and the month of April is Donate Life Month. And I just want to wish everybody who celebrates a very happy Passover. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Dixon's not here, Councilmember Digley is not here, Councilmember Teets.
Good evening. Just like to apologize for not being there in person, but I'm glad to have the opportunity to attend over Zoom. And I do not have anything to report at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Laffois.
Yep, just a couple of things. As Tom indicated, we have the proclamation for National Volunteer Appreciation Week. Just wanted to take the opportunity to thank all of our Newton volunteers on our various boards and commissions, our fire department, first aid squad. The volunteers that come out for cleanup days. We sit on the dais and do the work that we were elected to do, but we have so many volunteers working day in, day out to make the town of Newton a better place to play, live, and work. And we just can't thank them enough. So I'm glad that we're recognizing them with a proclamation this week. And this week kicks off, or today kicks off maybe yesterday kicks off National Volunteer Appreciation Week. So thank you. Wanted to make mention that Newton is hiring for summer seasonal employees, so lawn maintenance, lifeguards, pool staff, interns. So if you have someone in your life that is interested in working for the town of Newton this summer, please visit our website. I was able to attend on April 17th, the Wine and Roses event to benefit Newton Medical Center Foundation. It's always a great event every year. This year it was at Corona. It was a beautiful evening, lots in attendance, saw lots of healthcare professionals in attendance. Certainly a lot of first responders and others, benefactors of the hospital. And I just think that we have such a jewel in the town of Newton to be able to have the local hospital here and all of the then ancillary businesses that support the hospital and our healthcare providers. So always happy to support the foundation's annual event. We had no April planning board meeting last week. So nothing to report on there. And also wanted to wish everyone a happy Passover that is celebrating beginning this evening. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much. So while Councilmember Dixon is not here tonight, he did submit a report to me that I will read very quickly. At the last Historic Preservation Committee meeting, 2 applications were heard. The first at 9-11 Main Street was presented and the board made suggestions to the applicant's plan, and they were to come back to the next meeting to present their plan after the hearing, the suggestions that were made. Paco's Pizza on Spring Street came before the board. Work had been done without the proper approval from the historic board since the property falls within the historic district. The board was seeking to work with the applicant to come up with a solution for the situation, and the applicant will be returning at the next meeting, which is May 20th. Additionally, the board did ask Matt if there was any way that once a sale within the district occurs, if notification could be sent to the new property owner. At the very least, the board is hoping that the town would be willing to send out letters to all properties within the district outlining the process for what needs approval and the process to do so. So I think that's fairly reasonable. From my own side, I'll just read into the record the two proclamations that we have. We have one for the National Donate Life Month. Whereas realizing the urgent need for organ and tissue donors across the country, the National Donate Life Month observance promotes a greater understanding about the life-saving benefits of donation and transplantation. Moreover, the need is increasing. The New Jersey Sharing Network is committed to addressing that need through increased awareness. And whereas the transplantation of organs and tissue is a miracle of modern medicine made possible through the compassion of organ and tissue donors, enabling surgeons to save thousands of lives every year. One organ donor can save 8 lives, and one tissue donor can restore the health to over 75 others. People of all ages, ethnic backgrounds, and religions are touched by donations and by the serious shortage of organ donors that exists. Currently, there are nearly 4,000 New Jersey residents and 100,000 Americans awaiting life-saving transplant operations. And whereas every capable person should support the vital effort by registering as an organ and tissue donor, making their family aware of their wishes and being willing to give the precious gift of health, sight, and life to people in need. And whereas registering as an organ and tissue donor at a local motor vehicle agency or online at njsharingnetwork.org signifies our fundamental human responsibility to help others. And whereas we, the mayor and town council of the town of Newton, recognize National Donate Life Month as an opportunity to join the New Jersey Sharing Network in its life-saving mission, now therefore, we, the mayor and town council of the town of Newton, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Donate Life Month in the town of Newton, and urge all residents to join us in promoting organ and tissue donor education throughout National Donate Life Month. Second proclamations for National Volunteer Week. Whereas volunteerism strengthens communities, improves social problems, and enhances the overall quality of life for all citizens. And whereas experience teaches us that government alone cannot solve all of our social problems or meet all of our opportunities, so we have focused on partnerships with businesses, faith-based organizations, nonprofit organizations, and community members. And whereas volunteering changes the lives of volunteers in a positive way, increasing self-confidence, self-esteem, and physical well-being, offering the chance to make new connections and providing opportunities to learn new skills and abilities. And whereas the town of Newton recognizes volunteering improves our quality of life and increases community participation and ownership, and volunteers are vital to our future as a desirable, caring, and productive town. Now, therefore, we, the mayor and town council of the town of Newton, hereby proclaim that the week of April 21st, 27th, 2024 be recognized as National Volunteer Week in the town of Newton. Along the same lines, last week was National Public Safety Communicator Week, and we have a number of dedicated individuals serving our town in the general greater Newton area for all of our, not just our 911 call needs, but all of the non-emergency needs and telecommunications activities that go on with the Newton Police Department, our Public Works, Fire Department, First Aid Squad, Animal Control Officer, and a number of other connections within the town. Additionally, it was also National Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week, as Newton continues to march on and expands our Animal Control Officer program. We definitely appreciate the work that both our full-time and part-time animal control officers do for our town and the towns with which we hold shared services agreements. Lastly, I think it's fair to mention that coming up in May, on May 4th, there's a recycling event in town from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock, at which you can bring items to the recycling center for disposal. There's a number of restrictions on that. Feel free to consult either electronic resources in the town's website, or you can reach out to myself or Mr. Russo or our DPW folks to investigate this any further, but this will also include bulk pickup for anyone in town who would like to do so. You can obtain a permit to do that. And there are opportunities to bring batteries, electronics, larger items down to the DPW or the recycling center rather, to dispose of those items. Did you have something to
I
add?
do. May I
Okay,
add,
you
Mayor?
absolutely may.
Just a couple other things really quick too. On next Monday, so the 29th, we are doing the ribbon cutting ceremony down at Pine Street Park for our new accessible equipment and other improvements that have been done at Pine Street Park. So it's at 5 o'clock. And then we'll be following that up with the ribbon cutting for the animal control facility down at Memory Park. So two initiatives I think we're all very proud of. So encourage the public to join. And while she is still here, in case she was going to slip out for the end of the meeting, I just wanted to acknowledge Marge McCabe, former longtime volunteer and chair of our planning board, seeing us through, I think, the merger really of to create our land use board, which is the more appropriate terminology, combining planning and zoning. So thank you for all of your years of service in very many capacities in the town, not just in the planning board, but others. And just wanted to congratulate the Newton Rotary Club on 100 years of service. I was nice to hear some of your comments about some of the land donations and things that I'm not sure that I was completely aware of. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, and we look forward to attending the dinner with you.
Thank you. We'll move on to our ordinances, and we do have a number tonight. If ordinance 2024-6, which is an ordinance authorizing the change of a street name in accordance with NJSA 40:67-1K. This refers to Brooks Plaza in the town of Newton. And I'll entertain a motion to introduce this ordinance.
I'll offer ordinance 2024-6.
I will second.
Excellent. Roll call?
Mrs. LaFois,
Yes.
Mrs. Teets,
Yes,
Mayor Kus.
Yes.
And the public hearing on the above ordinance will be held on Monday, May 13th at 7 p.m.
The next ordinance is ordinance 20-24-7, which is an ordinance to change the wage levels for the chief financial officer and finance director in the town salary ordinance. A motion to introduce?
I'll offer ordinance 2024-7.
and I will second.
Roll call?
Mrs. LaFois,
Yes.
Mrs. Teets,
Yes,
Mayor Kus.
Yes.
And again, the public hearing on 2024-7 will be held on Monday, May 13th at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Ordinance 2024-8, a bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $880,000 for various water sewer improvements in and by the town of Newton in the county of Sussex, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $880,000 worth of bonds or notes of the town for financing part of the appropriation. Entertain a motion to introduce.
I'll offer to introduce ordinance 2024-8.
I'll second 2024-8.
See a pattern tonight.
And a roll.
Yeah.
Well, a couple more to go.
Mhm.
Mrs.
roll-
LaFois,
Yes.
Mrs. Teets,
Yes,
Mayor Kus.
Yes.
And again, the ordinance 2024 public hearing will be held on Monday, May 13th at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Ordinance 2024-9, an ordinance providing funding for various water sewer improvements for the town of Newton and appropriating $406,496.37 for such purpose. Entertain a motion to introduce.
I'll offer ordinance 2024-9.
I will second for 2024-9.
And roll call?
Mrs. LaFois.
Yes.
Mrs. Teets,
Yes,
Mayor Kus.
Yes.
And again, the public hearing on ordinance 2024-9 will be held Monday, May 13th at 7 p.m.
We'll now move to ordinance 2024-10. It's a bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $1,745,000 for various water sewer vehicle acquisitions in and by the town of Newton in the county of Sussex, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $1,745,000 worth of bonds or notes of the town for financing part of the application or appropriation.
I'll offer ordinance 2024-10.
I will second 2024-10.
A roll call, please.
Mrs. LaFois.
Yes.
Mrs. Teets,
Yes,
Mayor Kus.
Yes.
I know there's a little bit of delay on camera, so.
The hearing will be for 2024-10 will be held on Monday, May 13th at 7 p.m.
Thank you. And lastly, ordinance 2024-11, a bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $1,464,000 for various capital improvements in and by the town of Newton in the county of Sussex, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $539,140 worth of bonds or notes of the town for financing part of the appropriation.
And I will offer 2024-11.
And I will second 2024-11.
A roll call, please.
Mrs. LaFois?
Yes.
Mrs. Teets?
Yes,
Mayor Kus?
Yes.
And finally, ordinance 2024-11, public hearing will be held on Monday, May 13th at 7 p.m.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to our consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the town council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. And Mr. Russo, if you wouldn't mind a rundown, please.
Sure. 123 is a purchase of a Chevy Tahoe police vehicle through the state contract. 124, disclosure contract for Convergent Technologies. 125 is a recycling tonnage grant insertion, chapter 159 into the budget. 126 rejects all proposals for uniform supply and cleaning bids, bid 2-2024. 127 awards the uniform cleaning and supply contract through Omnia Co-op to Cintas. 128 is the hiring of police investigative software services through competitive contracting. 129 is a change order number 1 for Suburban Consulting related to Memory Park, Moores Brook dredging. 130 sets special meeting for CFO interviews April 29th. 131 authorizes the hiring of certain police officers. 132 rejects all bids for hockey rink rehab. 133 is iBank funding not to exceed 170,000. 134, similar resolution for 775,000. 135, similar funding for 2,300,000. We have a grant application for the Nelson Street Flood Mitigation Project and bills and vouchers.
Thank you very much. Are there any items that anyone would like to remove from the consent agenda?
No, not removed from me. Just wanted to make note of, the continued grant applications that we receive and apply for and I know that those are not easy. But the receipts of those, help us to offset needs and get them funded through non-taxpayer dollars. So thank you to Monica and Tom and everybody who works on all of those grant applications from the beginning to the reporting to the seeing the work to the end. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There's no
Mayor-
other comments. So I'll offer the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I will second the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. A roll call, please.
Mrs. LaFois?
Yes.
Mrs. Teets?
Yes,
Mayor Kus?
I'll be abstaining from check numbers 10536 and 10539. Yes, otherwise. We'll now move to our second public session. Same rules as the first apply. Anyone in person who would like to speak, please approach the microphone. Not seeing anyone, we'll transition to Zoom. If anyone on Zoom would like to speak, please indicate so by raising your hand. Not seeing anyone on Zoom, we'll close the second public session this evening. And are there any final manager or council member comments?
Oh, man, thank you.
For me.
All right, not seeing anyone, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved at 7:28 PM.
I will second that at 7:28 PM.
Thank you very much. We'll entertain a roll call by voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Michelle.
Good night, guys.
All right.
Have a good night.